friends, welcome back to Ministry Monday. I'm Carlton Coon, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be offering some suggestions about how that we can move the flock of God forward. These are either some things that I've used or that I have seen others put to use and seem to work well. And of course, part of the responsibility that we have as shepherds of the flock of God is the responsibility to lead them. And a shepherd has to keep his flock in constant motion. One of the premises of dealing with sheep, at least as they are dealt with in Palestine and as they were originally dealt with in the western United States, is the flock has to be in motion. If sheep remain on the same plot of ground for too long, they will eat the grass down to the root, and they do this to the point of killing the grass. And of course, at that particular point, not only is the range unhealthy, but in time the flock itself becomes unhealthy because there's nothing to graze on. In the 1800s, there were range wars. I mean, real battles between cattle ranchers and shepherds over this particular issue because sheep would regularly destroy the grass that the cattle were dependent on. So a flock has to be in motion. It has to be going somewhere, or it is going to become stagnant, or else it's going to go backwards. Last week, I did a disciple makers workshop in Adamsville, Tennessee. The church there has a beautiful building, but the bishop and pastor were both talking about the future, about the paving that needed to be done around the building and what would be next as far as future expansion was concerned. And what they were communicating was that we see something moving forward. There is something we want to accomplish. We want to move this flock to a different level, to a different dimension of accomplishment, if you please. Now, one of the things that is a reality is that moving comfortable people forward is difficult. And the more self-willed a person is, and the longer that they have lived on a particular plot of ground, the more difficult it is to get them moving because they simply see this dusty, dirty, not much grass on it, piece of ground as being their heritage. This is where we belong. A comfortable church is not necessarily always a healthy church. You can rest at ease on the lees, and that's just simply the waste of the grapes that settles into the bottom of the glass. You can rest on that, and that might be comfortable, but it's not necessarily healthy. The passing of time creates comfort, even if the primary focus of God's work, which is evangelism and disciple making, is not being accomplished. Progress involves movement. Movement involves change, and it's interesting. Everybody loves change as long as it doesn't affect them. The late T.C. Bonnet pastored several churches in Louisiana. All of them were in small towns or rural settings. Brother Bonnet had a philosophy. It was this, that a church should either be saving money for some physical improvement, it should be working to accomplish that physical improvement, or aggressively working to pay off the debt associated with the improvement just completed. Every church that he pastored, Shady Grove in LaSalle Parish of Louisiana, the church in Oakdale, the church at Camp 8, every church that he pastored grew and progressed. At least some of it was because that he kept a vision in front of the flock and he kept them moving towards something else that they needed to accomplish. That same sentiment is essential for all of us who are going to lead the flock forward in the coming months and coming years.